Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Golden Bachelorette. Chock Chapple needed someone like Joan Vassos in his life. They've both happier since getting engaged. The Golden Bachelorette's Chock Chapple and Joan Vassos seem blissfully happy since getting engaged, and it really seems like the two bring out the best in each other. 62-year-old Joan made her television debut during Jerry Turner's season of The Golden Bachelor. When a family emergency led to Joan leaving the season early, she was cast as The Bachelor spin-off's first female lead. She kicked off night one by welcoming 24 single golden men to the iconic mansion, including 60-year-old Chock. Joan and Chock went on to end the season by getting engaged. Joan and Chock's successful union has been an enormous relief, especially after the failure of the last Golden Bachelor relationship. After Joan left the Golden Bachelor early, Jerry went on to give his rose to 71-year-old Theresa Nist. The couple got engaged during the final rose ceremony and were married weeks later in a nationally televised Golden Bachelor wedding. The septuagenarian couple announced their divorce just 3 months later, and the failure hangs like a shadow over the Golden Bachelorette Season 1. The truth is, Joan and Chock are a way better couple than Jerry and Theresa ever were. Life hasn't been all rainbows and sunshine for Joan and Chock since getting engaged on the Golden Bachelorette Season 1. The pair have 6 adult children together, and it was really important for them to be able to blend their families. It hasn't always come easy, and Joan and Chock have had to work through some growing pains. Despite the struggles, the Vassos and Chapple clans were able to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas together. Things may not be perfect, but Joan and Chock are working through their issues. Joan and Chock are both accustomed to being in long-term relationships. Long before joining the casts of The Golden Bachelor and The Golden Bachelorette, Joan was married to Joan Vassos until he died in 2021. They've been married for 32 happy years and had 4 children together. When he was diagnosed with cancer, Joan was in denial. She expected him to survive it somehow. Before he passed away, he sat her down and made her promise not to spend the rest of her life alone. His final gift to Joan made it possible for her to find Chock. Chock was married to Heather Chapple for 12 years, and they had 2 children together, Taylor and Tyler Chapple. After their divorce, Chock met Catherine Gorey, who had 2 children of her own. After a 9-year engagement, Catherine died in 2022. She, too, had been diagnosed with cancer and ultimately succumbed to the illness. Joan and Chock are both accustomed to being in deeply committed, long-term relationships, so it was relatively easy for them to fall into a groove with one another. On Valentine's Day, Joan sent Chock a sweet message on Instagram. Alongside photos of the 2 of them from throughout their journey, Joan wrote, "To my Valentine. I was filled with hope but never believed I'd get a second chance at love and could ever be this happy again. But our worlds collided in this crazy way as if it was meant to be. At Chock Chapple, every day is better because you are in it and my heart is full." Joan and Chock haven't set a date for their wedding yet, but they seem happier than Jerry and Theresa ever were. Joan and Chock spent the romantic holiday talking about their love story. The couple went on the Drew Barrymore show, and Joan posted it on Instagram. "Thank you to The Drew Barrymore Show for having us a part of your Valentine's Day episode to talk about our love story," wrote Joan. "A magical New York moment we'll never forget." Joan and Chock have been very open about the unique challenges of embarking on a new relationship later in life, and it's been a real inspiration to people. In the midst of their busy lives, the Golden Bachelorette couple recently made the time to get away. Joan and Chock went on a romantic getaway to Cancun and posted the photos on Instagram. They look so happy together in all the photos and appear to be proving all of their critics wrong. At this rate, fans will get another Golden Bachelor wedding, and it won't end as badly as last time. The Golden Bachelorette Season 1 couple were recently interviewed on the Dear Shandy podcast, and a clip was posted on Instagram. In the highly illustrative clip, Joan and Chock mildly disagree about throw pillows, while Chock prefers a throw pillow-free environment. Joan wants as many throw pillows as possible. It's the perfect example of the kind of cute dynamic between Joan and Chock. It implies that they're already extremely comfortable with each other, and they're well on the road to happily ever after. For decades, Chock Chapple had been the rock in everyone else's life. A devoted father, a loyal friend, and a man who always put others first. He had spent years offering strength and support to those around him. But when he walked onto the Golden Bachelorette and met Joan Vassos, he quickly realized something. For all the love he had given, he had never truly received it in return. He had spent a lifetime being the provider, the protector. But what he needed, what he had been unknowingly searching for, was someone to stand beside him, not just lean on him. And Joan? Well, she had been searching for someone like Chock too. Their love story on the Golden Bachelorette unfolded like something out of a Nicholas Sparks novel. Joan, having suffered great heartbreak after losing her first husband, had come onto the show with hesitation. She had a full life, wonderful children, and a heart still healing from grief. But she also knew that she still had love left to give. The problem was finding the right man, someone who understood her, who didn't just see her as another chapter in their own life story, but as an equal partner. Then came Chock. From the first night, there was something about Chock that put Joan at ease. He wasn't the loudest or the flashiest contestant, but he was steady, consistent, and exuded a warmth that Joan found both comforting and intriguing. Their early conversations weren't filled with forced flirtation or over-the-top gestures. Instead, they spoke about life, their pasts, their children, their hopes for the future. And in those quiet moments, a connection bloomed. As the weeks passed, the other men tried to impress Joan with grand displays of affection. But Chock took a different approach. He listened. He asked questions. He didn't try to overshadow her grief, but rather honored it, recognizing that the love she once had could exist alongside what they were building together. For Joan, this was everything. Chock wasn't trying to erase her past. He was simply offering her a beautiful future. By the time the final rose ceremony arrived, Joan didn't need to hesitate. Chock was her person. And when he got down on one knee and asked her to be his, she didn't just say yes. She practically jumped into his arms. It was a moment of pure joy, the kind that people often think is reserved for younger couples. But Joan and Chock proved that love doesn't have an expiration date. Since getting engaged, their lives have only become richer. Unlike some couples who struggle to adjust after the cameras stop rolling, Joan and Chock have flourished. They've blended their families with ease, creating a support system filled with love, laughter, and understanding. They travel together, try new experiences together, and most importantly, they continue to grow as a couple. Chock, who once dedicated himself to everyone else's needs, has finally found someone who nurtures him just as much as he nurtures others. Joan, who once feared she might never find love again, has discovered a partnership that is strong, steady, and full of joy. Now when they're seen together, whether it's on social media or at Bachelor Nation events, there's an undeniable glow about them. They don't just look happy, they radiate happiness. It's as if they've both come alive in a new way, proving to themselves and to the world that second chances at love aren't just possible, they're magical. And perhaps that's the most beautiful part of their story. They didn't just find love, they found exactly what they needed in each other. Joan needed a man who would honor her past, but also make her excited for the future. Chock needed a woman who would love him for who he was, not just for what he could provide. They found that in each other, and they've never been happier.